What does it mean to say Jesus is everything? I don't say that anymore. Don't be offended if I tell you that. Okay? I've come to see Jesus as the other. That's where I am in my journey now. Forgive me if the outline is here. Don't worry, you're getting it. I've come to see Jesus as the other. And the reason I say that is because as a gay teenager, I needed this one person in my life who would always be able to answer to the need. You understand who I am? You understand what I'm going through? And the evangelical setting is the perfect setting to develop this kind of relationship. Now, later in years, we're talking about the theme has changed. I'm telling you my origins so you can understand them, in order so that when I say there was change in my life, the change was from here to here. So I'm telling you here, and you're already getting the sense of the change that's coming. I woke up one morning after being in this relationship and thinking through my evangelical faith, and I said, wow, to what extent was Jesus Christ, my childhood pretend, blame me? That's an interesting thought. And I began to realize that because of my need, which was real and substantial, and because there was not a society, a community created around me to support me, with whom I could make connecting emotional, meeting that social need as a gay person, Jesus Christ had really become a reflector back to me. Have you ever seen the movie A Touch of Pink? Do you have it here? It's a gay movie. It's A Touch of Pink. But if you ever get a chance to see that movie, that was really my evangelical story. And it's on my website. You can see, not the movie, but my commentary of the movie, pictures from the movie, and how I relate that movie to my where I was evangelically to where I think I am today. So the change here was, as an evangelical, for me, I'm not saying this is true of evangelicals. I can only tell you what evangelical did with me in my context as a gay teenager. For me, that devotional life became the end all. Today, at the end of the movie, you just have to read the commentary on the website. Today, I see Jesus as the other. And I refer to him as the other because I think that in my evangelical experience, he was so much a part of me that we were so meshed, he didn't have his identity separate from me. You see? And I think that can happen in religion, whatever religion. Whatever religion. That our God over here becomes so meshed with what we need and reflect that really we have two personalities meshed. And I come to see Jesus Christ as the other for me. Now that's just one change. And that's been a healthy change for me. That change came about in this sense. In my mid-40s, when I was no longer going to make it, and having taken the evangelical promise from age 13 to age 43, that Jesus Christ is all that I ever need, guess what happened at age 43? Jesus Christ wasn't everything I needed as a gay man. I needed some other things. And I think most evangelicals would say, well, we don't really mean, Steve, for you to have taken it to the extent that you did. But I think sometimes we do. And I realized that Jesus Christ could never be for me what I needed in another person. And sometimes evangelical says to us, Jesus is the greatest person. He's the only person you'll ever need. And if you're going down that road, you've got to be careful. Because I think we have to ask God to put into place the people and relationships that we need. Because guess what? At the end of the day, I don't go to bed with Jesus Christ. Do you? If you're coupled, go to bed with Jose. In the morning, I don't really wake up and say, good morning, Jesus, although we do and we can. I wake up and I see this person over here who, until he has his coffee, you don't even want to say good morning. You want to pretend you're not even there. But you know, I was at age 43, I prayed this prayer for 3 days every morning. I would go on a morning prayer walk, I called it, and I would begin to talk to God, and I said to Him, with tears streaming down my face, I'm not going to make it. And I would pray it this way. I would envision someday when I see Jesus Christ, He would wrap His arms around me. Because He is that loving person. I don't want to dismiss the Good Shepherd who puts the lost sheep around His shoulder. I don't want to dismiss the idea of relationship with God. And I used to see that someday I would see Jesus, the resurrected body, and He would receive me, and His arms would embrace me. I began to pray this prayer. I said, Jesus, I can wait no longer for that day when you will put your arms around me. I'm not going to make it. And I would pray this every morning. Please send loving male arms. It's almost like a catalog order, right? Please send loving male arms now. I can't wait for your arms. And you know, He knew right where I was. And God made us social beings. He made us to live in society and community and cell groups. And He made us to want intimacy and to have and need and receive intimacy. And I wasn't telling Jesus anything that He didn't already know. And this is the end of the movie. The end of the movie is, you know, A Touch of Pink. A Touch of Pink is this gay young man in England who he's of Indian descent, and he loves the Cary Grant movies. You know the Cary Grant movies. And of course, Cary Grant, you know, was gay. He was a gay man during his career. And so with his Cary Grant movies, Cary Grant becomes the person he talks to. Now he has a partner. His mother he hasn't told yet. This Indian boy living in England. And so he has to tell Cary Grant everything because he's afraid to tell his mother, his boyfriend, certain things, and he has this wonderful relationship with Cary Grant, which is all in his head. And in the movie, Cary Grant shows up. It really is a nice picture of what evangelicals do, I feel, sometimes with Jesus. They need to be carrying on a relationship with their mother, their parents, their spouse, or they need to be working at the issue of the social who we are. But it's much easier to talk to Cary Grant, who says right back to the person in the movie, that's right, you've got it right. You know? And all throughout this movie, he's talking to Cary Grant, just like I think some Christians do with some evangelicals do, I think, with Jesus. And Jesus says right back to them, that's right. You know, you can find the verse that works for you that day. Oh, and now listen, let me, I did this as an evangelical all my teen years, and I did it as a gay man trying to overcome my homosexuality. That's why I'm talking about this. I know because I was told it was wrong. I spent 2 hours a day, literally, as a teenager, going from home from high school to read my Bible, to be that devotional, evangelical, Calvinistic, throw that in there, Christian, in order to not act upon my feelings as a gay man. And it was wonderful. I had a great time in the Word. I had a great time. And I always found Jesus there at the end of the day. But it was great, and I don't want to minimize that. But it was very easy for me to say to Jesus, hey, here's this verse. I remember reading Joshua chapter 1, I think it is. Or is it Judges? I think it's Judges. Where in Judges, the Lord says, God says, I'm going to leave some of the enemy in the land so that you will learn to do warfare. Now, if you're a gay Christian at age 14 and your daily devotions is from Judges chapter 1, and you read, I'm going to leave some of the enemy in the land for you to learn to do warfare, I just ran with that verse. I said, wow, this is exciting. No wonder you made me to be gay. You see? You've left the enemy right here, so that I can learn to do warfare. And if I learn to do warfare, I'm going to be that pastor someday that can really talk about, victorious Christian living. I had a great time with the Bible because I took to the Bible every day. My being this gay Christian